Ladies and gentlemen, live from Kelvin University, it's The Tonight Show!
Hello, and welcome to The Tonight Show. My name is Sam Tuitt, and despite what I'm wearing, I don't actually work at a bowling alley. This is our last show of the semester, so we are pulling out all the stops. Thank you to all 4 of our viewers for watching, but now I do need to go find a real job. We do have some fantastic guests this week, though. Pastor Matt is going to be here, and later there will be a musical performance from the American Hotel System. But first, the news. J-Lo, Prince Harry, and more performed at the first vaccine concert recently, wherein everyone in the concert was vaccinated. This is just another reason to be like Jackie and get that wacky vacky. Here on campus, it is the last week of classes, so you have 2 more days to lower your parents' expectations of your grades from B's to D's, and your standards for ring by spring from Dutch engineering student to anyone who is single. Final season is upon us, and for those of you living in the dorms who haven't gotten to experience a final season in person, get ready for 10 at 10, the traditional 10-minute period where everyone shouts into the void, sets their couches on fire, and raids Johnny's. It truly is a beautiful tradition. Despite the recent passing of Prince Philip, White Boy Summer will be starting soon, so make sure you get out your longboards and sunscreen. I'm looking at you, Adrian. There's no response. The university recently announced that Noah Tolley is set to begin his role as provost on July 1st, and I do have to admit, it is nice to see some diversity in the president's cabinet here on campus. Tolley is a white male political scientist who comes to Calvin from Wheaton College. This is something we were severely lacking here at Calvin, where our president is also a white male political scientist who came to Calvin from Wheaton. Finally, this coming Sunday is Mother's Day. Hopefully, you've already gotten your mother a gift, because after a year of living with your parents due to a global pandemic, macaroni art probably isn't going to cut it. Sorry, Mom. That's all for the news. We will be right back with Pastor Matt. We're back. I am joined right now by Pastor Matt Postma, who is the discipleship leader person on campus. You said there wasn't really ever finalized what your job title is.
No, discipleship pastor of discipleship, something like that.
Yeah. You're a pastor and you lead like the Barnabas teams.
That's
the
right.
Dorms, right?
Yep. I've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years now, working with the Barnabas teams and doing all the training with them, working with them to develop spiritual disciplines, things like that. Yeah.
So one of the things that the Barnabases do is sometimes, if they want to really bring in people to Bible study for the floor, they'll bake special bread, right, for everyone. Can you?
It's not special bread.
But it's special bread. I have asked for the recipe, and people are like, "No, I will not give you the recipe."
Really?
For this.
They're stingy with the recipe?
Yeah, like it's a I thought it was a secret thing that like you told them not to tell anyone.
No, it's not not a secret society of like bread makers where.
That would be cool.
That would. we may have started something there, but we use this bread as a kinesthetic way of teaching about making bread. For one, it's a practical thing, but it's also something where we teach the spiritual disciplines. So we connect to different parts of the bread making process to spiritual disciplines, and that's why we do the Barna bread. But then when the Barna bread is something that when Barnabas go into their buildings and they want to feed people or I don't know,
spiritually and physically.
Invite them, invite people into Bible studies or into dorm worship or things like that. Sometimes they'll make a loaf of bread, and it's a really practical tool to be able to invite people in. And there's nothing quite like fresh bread that welcomes people or draws people. Yeah. People will follow their noses, and they will come in droves to find the bread. So it's not a special particular recipe. That's not a secret recipe. If you want to, I can give you the recipe, and you can make it yourself. But it's been a really tasty way that's helped define the Barnabas
Yeah.
program for a lot of things, because sometimes people will be like, "Oh, are those the people who make the Barna bread?" Yes, that's what Barnabas are.
That's actually like the main thing they do is
Yeah.
bake bread. It's not about like mentoring, like
Right.
spiritual wellness
Right.
of floors or
Right.
anything. It's like
We are-
the people who make the bread.
We are basically just training the bakers of the buildings to be able to supply fresh bread to.
It's important skill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you may or may not know this.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the midst of a global pandemic.
Yeah.
It's been kind of rough.
Yes.
How are you holding up?
You know, I'm surviving,
Good.
and there's a few ways that I've been able to cope. But there's a lot when you come from a family. I have 2 young kids and a wife at home,
Okay.
and so the pandemic has mostly been managing all the family things,
Yeah.
the schedules, and what it means to have a kindergartner and a kid in daycare, and my wife works full time as well. So we're staying very busy and trying to just manage all the things.
Nice.
Yeah.
I heard you had to be a kindergarten teacher for a little bit. How
Yeah.
did that go?
Yeah. So there was a time when we had to do quarantine with all of us, which meant that my daughter was home and she was going to be participating in classes, her kindergarten class, through Zoom meetings. And but there were parts of that day where I had to be the teacher, the kindergarten teacher. So I would do things like getting all the worksheets out and putting them in front of her, or it was mostly just managing the Zoom links, because there was a new Zoom link every 45 minutes or so, which was kind of intense.
That's a lot, yeah.
And my child doesn't quite know how to navigate my email and
Right.
the Google Sheet and the Zoom passwords and all that kind of stuff. So I needed to be present for that, and then also I was the mac and cheese maker.
That's a pretty
for
important
lunchtime.
role as well,
Yep. And just all the other things that go along with parenting kids who are still learning what it means to be a human being and be kind to each other and be kind to their parents. And yeah, so being a kindergarten teacher is difficult.
Yeah.
Not my calling. Oops, sorry. Not my calling. But it's something I very much appreciate, that there are people who really want to do this work. And so I have a deep appreciation for kindergarten teachers.
And you can let them do that work.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have to.
That's right. Thank you, kindergarten teachers,
Yeah.
for your work. But yeah, managing all of the different schedules has been just an extra layer. How there's always an extra layer now in quarantine life of
Right.
you got to do the campus clear, or you got to
Right.
like temperature checks, and I forgot my mask, and
Yeah. I have left the house more than one time and then gone, oh no, a mask. And
Yeah.
I had to like go right back in.
yeah. My 3-year-old is getting to the expert level of where did she leave her mask?
Oh.
Yeah, so she will leave her mask in different places, and then we'll ask her where did she leave it, and she will just stand there, and you can tell that she's thinking. She'd be like, "It's in the car."
Wow.
Yeah. So
Ooh,
Yeah.
that skill will come in handy down the line.
expert level. Where is my mask? But she just leaves it everywhere.
I just realized we could have made it like a mask extra layer. You said extra layer and then like mask because it's like extra layer over your face. This would have been a good joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could go back and make that.
I don't know.
Nah, maybe not.
I don't think it was that good. So this is the student activities office where we like try to engage with pop culture a bit. So like, what sort of art have you been kind of paying attention to? What books or movies or TV have you been engaging with through the past year?
Yeah. When the pandemic hit, I was just starting to get into audiobooks, and I had been listening to stuff while I was going to the gym when gyms were still open and a thing. And then I really got into it when I could spin on my bike in the basement, set up one of those trainer things, and I would spin on my bike, and I would listen to books. I started getting into books, Stephen King books, some kind of thriller stuff.
Okay.
Stephen King's son, what's his name? He has a different pen name. Anyway, he had a new book out, and I listened to that pretty thoroughly. I like to listen to a wide range of different things. So I listened to Ready Player One, and that was way better than the movie. I watched the movie afterwards, and I was like, no! The movie's
The audiobook.
not great, but the audiobook is really, really good. And then there's a sequel, Ready Player Two, which is also fascinating.
Very good name to let you know it's a sequel.
Yeah. But it's one of those like futuristic, like what if technology gets to this certain point kind of a book. So I won't get into it like what it was about, but that was a really entertaining book. I found myself gravitating toward that. I wanted to listen to that in the evenings after the kids were in bed instead of wanting to watch a TV show or something. It was that gripping. So I really enjoyed those books. I'm listening to a biography right now on Eugene Peterson, which has been...
The guy who made the Caterpillar books. What's the...
Caterpillar books?
Nope. Wasn't there like a Herb, the Caterpillar, Adrian? Hermie.
That's like a focus on the family thing.
I thought it was Eugene Peterson. Dang it! I thought I had a good joke.
No, Eugene Peterson.
He made the Message.
That's right. He translated the Bible into the
Max
into the
Lucado.
Message. There you go.
Sorry.
Still not Herbie.
Dang it.
But I've been listening to this Eugene Peterson biography, and it's really wonderful, especially as a pastor, thinking about the life of another pastor and what it might mean for me to live into that pastoral calling. I found it really helpful, both for my prayer life, for what I read, for the way that I think about using my imagination, just really wonderful things that way. But I've listened to like more than 30 audiobooks in the last year, and it's been really a wonderful way to consume things for me in a way that's I feel is maybe a bit more, I don't know what the right word is.
Passive?
It's passive. I don't know. I feel like I can get lost in a TV show and it's like not super edifying, if that makes sense. But this could be edifying. Podcasts could be edifying, right? Maybe I can listen to those and feel like, this is really good.
I'm learning something.
Yeah. So the learning aspect, and maybe that's just a product of this Calvin bubble that we occupy at times, is very learning focused, and there's something that's added of like it's an extra level of pious or good if you're learning something on top.
It's not just entertainment.
But
do you ever have it where so I listen to a lot of podcasts, but do you ever have it where you like kind of zone out and then you have to go back and kind of re-listen to the
I use that back 30 seconds button a lot, either because I zoned out or I'm like, I may have misheard what that was, and usually I did just mishear it. I was trying to do too many things at once. I was making dinner and trying to make this or listen to the podcast at the same time, and go back 30 seconds, and usually I hear it correctly when I'm paying attention. But there are moments where I have kids and they're like, Dad, look at this thing that I made, and I miss 30 seconds, a minute, a couple minutes, and it just keeps going in my ear, and so I have to go back and hit the back 30 seconds a few times until I hear something that I recognize. But zoning out is a real thing. Kids are a real thing. That's a weird thing to say.
I didn't think they were fake. Well, Matt, thank you for joining us for the last episode of The Tonight Show this semester. It's been real fun to get to sit and talk with you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We go now to a performance from the American Hotel Society. System. I'm going to do that again.
No, we're going to keep it like that. I just yell system. It's the last episode.
Adrian, really?
21st century screams like the ghost of years I misspent trying to fill up a hole filled by lonely, prideful sorrow. I'm letting go down from my throne. 21 years now that I've been alone, trying to fake love from this pedestal testimony to all that I boast. I'm letting go down from my throne. I'll never know what my life could be in this 21st century. 21 days now, the habit is formed. The old man is gone now. New life is born, growing slowly. A heart that's adorned. I'm letting go down from my throne. I'll never know what my life could be in this 21st century. Voices, they're saying I'm wrong, saying that selflessness doesn't belong. Self-matrimony, so just sing along. Yeah, I'm letting go down from my throne. I'll never know my life. Down from my throne, I'll never know what my life could be in this 21st century.
Thanks so much to the American Hotel System for joining us. Thank you also to Pastor Matt for coming and having a great conversation. Thank you also to Jack Droppers for letting us do weird stuff on this show and for having a baby so we could finally get him out of the hosting position. Thank you to Carlisle. I'm not going to try to say your last name, Carlisle. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to mess it up. But Carlisle wrote this. Guys, Carlisle wrote all the good jokes, and the bad jokes were me and Adrian. You should hire Carlisle to write jokes. She's funny. Work with her in projects if you can. Who else do I have to thank? Thank you, Adrian. Adrian, wave. Thanks, Adrian, for setting up the cameras and the lighting and making me sound good and look good while doing your best to make me look good. Thank you for watching this semester. This has been real fun to get to do. Upcoming events. There are no upcoming events. Study. Do your finals. graduate if you're a senior or ready to graduate, like me. It's kind of terrifying out there. What else? Thanks for watching.
Don't